Hello, welcome to Iejolite. My name is Ramadan Ali, and I went to school for economics and finance at the University of Texas at Dallas. And I was given the opportunity today to come over to Iejolite here in Borsیه, and I basically brought up all the issues that I come across during these times that I was studying abroad. So we spoke about how we could be better prepared for scholarships, and also how we can better pick our major that we like that can lead us to a prosperous life. Master's in business. I am very glad that I was given the opportunity to come over and speak to you all. A couple of years ago, I was probably sitting in the same seat as you guys are sitting right now. And, you know, I had a long journey that I had to go. So I went to the United States and I basically started from the scratch again over there. And, you know, I had to take some English classes and, you know, got my bachelor's, and there was a whole lot that I learned over time. And I would like to pass those info and challenges and bottlenecks that I came through. And hopefully that's going to help you guys. I forgot to mention that I went to the University of Texas at Dallas, and I basically got all my educational background from there. So I have a bachelor's in finance, like I said earlier, and a bachelor's in economics, and I did my master's in business with the focus in finance. I'll start off with a few questions, and hopefully those questions are going to help us out. And like I said earlier, the sole purpose of us being here today is to basically me walking you guys through the challenges and problems that I've come across, and hopefully that's going to help you guys out. If in case you guys were lucky enough to get a scholarship or anything and you guys had to travel. Who is interested in getting a scholarship abroad? Please raise your hand.
Everyone is interested.
Almost all of you guys, right?
Yes.
So I may not be the person to give you guys the scholarship, right? But I can help you guys, you know, to better prepare you for those scholarships. And since I went through those problems, and now I kind of understand better than most of you guys. So wishing is awesome to say, okay, well, I would like a scholarship. Let's suppose, you know, there's an opportunity today and right now to get a scholarship, and someone offered you a scholarship. Are you actually ready and prepared for that? No? Who is prepared for a scholarship?
Almost, we're ready.
Okay. So, say that one more time? 70%? Okay, that's good enough. And, you know, so there's always opportunities in our life, and they pop up. But most of the time, we're just simply not ready for that. And I brought up that question because, you know, that's basically something that we can help you guys out. So everything starts with an English class, right?
Yes.
As of today and right now, no matter what you study, especially if it's technology related, you're supposed to know English. Otherwise, you won't be able to even start that. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now, the problem with English is, you know, when we're taking English classes here in Afghanistan, most of us, when we go abroad, then we don't understand what they're saying. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
So we're not actually learning English, or probably we're not learning it the right way, the appropriate way to understand that. So, you know, because I personally come across that question. Many of us, we have certificates, we have graduated from many of these English classes and centers, but when we go to the real field, we don't understand that. So I was thinking about this the other day to see how I can tackle down this problem. And I can make it simple for you all to understand and to better prepare yourself for a scholarship. So the best thing you can do for right now is to, so this is from a personal experience. You know, for me, when I understood English better over time, it was through reading journals. So there are so many journals as well. So I was fortunate enough to see people from other nations as well, from India, from Japan, and I had different classmates, and all of them had this problem. So, because the problem is they study English in their own country, and they study it differently than what they're supposed to study. So they just simply study it in their own way, especially Indians. And that's not going to solve their problem. So the way I figured this out, and I think that is appropriate to be tackled down, is to start it with journals. So I almost every day read Wall Street Journal or Washington Post, because those are actual journals for English speakers. You know, those are not. So long time ago, we used to have many journals here in Afghanistan. Those are English. Those are proper English. I don't object that. But the problem is that they just, like when you read those journals, it doesn't basically prepare you for the actual English books. Has anyone read any novels in English? Question. You did? Do you understand it? No. So you just didn't know the words, right? Yeah. But the actual problem is a lot of people, they know the words, but they don't know how to use it. Or they use it the wrong way. That will be the problem. So when you're reading those, let's say, Wall Street or Washington Post journals, they actually use those words pretty perfectly because it's for the English speakers, right? So the whole, say that one more time?
I said that, yeah, they are native speakers.
Okay, yep, native speakers.
Yeah.
So for us, the whole point of learning English is to go speak to the English speakers, right? We don't want to speak English with each other, right? We already know Farsi, Pashto, and then many other languages, correct? So if we are learning English and it's different than what we're supposed to learn, and we cannot properly communicate with them, then we haven't actually done the job right. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Okay. So it was not to object what's going on in here. And, you know, I appreciate Mr. Hassani and then also his team for facilitating this. And I think they're doing a great job. But remember, so English is a step-by-step thing. If they start with a university level English, probably most of us wouldn't understand that, right? So that's why they're doing the right thing. But, you know, they asked me to come over and they facilitated this event. And I think I can probably bridge the gap. So for me to reiterate on this one more time, you know, I would always read the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post every day so that I can actually learn the proper English to communicate with the folks that are actually English speakers, right? So let's say if there's a scholarship and someone from here went to Canada or the United States, you know, so just remember it's not an English class. They're not focused on teaching you guys English. If they're teaching you math, they focus on math. It's your responsibility to understand that. And if you studied a different English, you know, I make fun of Indians. They speak a totally different English, and it's just for themselves. So, you know, that's not going to serve the cause. You know, it's not going to solve the problem that you're seeking. So, you know, I highly recommend to read those things. And number two, focus on watching movies, especially American movies, any English movies. And the best hint for that to basically figure out if you're prepared or not, watch a movie and tell me the story. Fair enough? So let's say if you watch a movie and you understood most of it, that basically tells you that you're prepared for the scholarship. And you guys remember, the big question was if anyone is ready for scholarship. You will be ready if you can understand a movie. Let's say an American movie, an English movie, you watched it, and if you understand 50% of it, don't judge based on what's happening, okay? I'm talking about the actual English, you know, because we watch a lot of movies that we don't understand what's going on. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Yes. So pay attention to the movie and tell me how much you understood. Like, let's say you don't have to be like perfect to understand all of them. Like every movie that you're watching, you can probably pick 1 or 2 sentences from that. And nowadays, we're very blessed with the internet, with the AI, with dictionaries and everything. So you can look it up, and they can actually explain it to you what it means. So for me, the biggest problems are the phrasal verbs. Who knows phrasal verbs? Yes? Okay, yeah. Phrasal verbs are not perfect words. It's a combination of something, like working out. Who knows what working out means?
Exercising.
Right, exercise. You know, when you say work out, if you don't understand the phrasal verbs, that basically tells you you're working, right? Probably digging a ditch, probably working with, I don't know, an engineering job or anything. But it's a phrasal verb. Working out basically means going to gym, exercising, right?
Yeah.
So now, when you're watching movies, there are so many phrasal verbs. And you know, you don't have to understand them and learn them all at once. There are so many phrasal verbs that I don't understand, and I want to be honest about that.
Use slang.
Yes, yes, slang is a slightly different thing, but you know, phrasal verb is pretty close to each other. So yeah, you can say that too. You know, there are slangs, there are phrasal verbs, but try to, so most of us, we've probably watched a lot of movies, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I probably watched more than 300 movies. And think about this. Let's put the target at the very low. Every movie that you're watching, find a brand new good sentence that you have never heard of it. Right? Jot them down in your notebook. Repeat it over and over. And over time, believe it or not, you will easily understand a lot of things from a movie. And if you want to understand better, you can probably start it with a scientific movie, not an action movie. Because action movies are, you know, pretty disturbing if you're trying to learn English because you're focused on the actions, right? Yes. So try to do a scientific movie, you know, because they're going to be actually talking about something and it's boring and you guys have to actually look for it. You know, you guys have to actually find the sentences and figure out what's going on. That works better. So, movies, yes. So number 1 was reading journals. Number 2 was watching movies. No? Do you know if they teach you, would you understand that?
No.
Not the math, the English.
English?
Yes.
Probably.
Let me say it in Farsi. ما شما اگر بخوایم که ریاضی بخوانیم، در ریاضی صورت و مخرج چی میگه در انگلیسی؟ شاید ساده ترین چیز باشه دیگه. صورت و مخرج چی میگه در انگلیسی؟ Okay. Numerator and denominator. خب. Okay, so when I was in college, long time ago, when I went there, so there was a math class. They were teaching me math. They started with this and I couldn't understand a word. I understood the math, but you know, I didn't understand any of the words that they were talking about. So you see, that's also important. If you're intended to, you know, go to a scholarship and go abroad and study, it's important to understand the math, the scientific language as well, right? Right? Okay. So now for that, it was really hard because now let's suppose the professor's talking about a math issue. And you know, if I try to focus on English, I wouldn't understand the math. If I focus on the math, I wouldn't understand the English. So do you guys understand? Those are the challenges that you guys will actually come across. So you know, as an Afghan, as a student, like most of you guys, I used to sit in chairs like these in here, and I studied English in Kabul, and also in some other provinces and areas. And you know, those were real problems for me. So I thought I could put them together and come over and explain it to you guys. So there's this cool website, it's called Khan Academy. Has anyone watched any Khan Academy videos?
Yeah.
Who? Okay, awesome. Are they helpful?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they are very helpful from two perspectives. Number 1, for math, because the whole focus of that thing is math. You know, could be some other things as well, but I was mostly watching math. The good thing is they're actually explaining it to you. It may have a subtitle as well. So you can watch some of those videos and jot down those problems and basically put it in your notebook. And it helps you, it better prepares you for scholarship if you guys are intended to do that. So now we covered a few things, right? First problem was English. English and English. So English for reading, you know, we're doing Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, and then there could be any other journals or websites that you guys believe it's credible. So number 2, for verbal English, for phrasal verbs, for actually talking to common people. Because you guys understand this, right? We speak Farsi. In Farsi, people are big in poems. You know, we have Hafiz Shirazi, we have Sadi. How many of us understand Hafiz Shirazi's book? Any of us? Very few of us, right? Because the literature is very, very high. But how many of us can we go outside and talk to the regular Kabylis? Almost all of us, right? And we also speak Farsi. So when we're watching movies, it can prepare you with local people, right? Because they're depicting the local people, the actual problems that are happening over there in local languages. That's why there are so many phrasal verbs, there are so many slangs, and probably some bad words as well. So yes, that was that. And then also we tackled the math problem, or scientific questions, scientific words. Not just words, they're actually used in sentences. So we're going to go to Khan Academy. So now, this was my solution for preparing you guys for a scholarship. Probably it is challenging, but what I'm focused is because I don't know who is limited in time, who is not. And you know, most of us, we have probably taken English classes for many, many years. And that basically means there was plenty of time for us to learn everything, right? In your case, I cannot help, you know. If you're limited in time, but no matter what, let's suppose if you go to university, you know, let's say you got the TOEFL and you went to a university, hopefully a prestigious one. And now they're teaching you math. So do you understand that you have to tackle 2 problems at the same time?
No, it is.
Because you don't understand the English, you don't understand the math at the same time. So can you speak Pashto?
No, we can understand, but we cannot speak.
Okay, well that's the problem. Let's say if I teach you something in Pashto, let's say I teach you math in Pashto. You don't understand the math, you don't understand Pashto. So you see, that's the problem that we have to tackle before, you know, we screw up on our studies in, you know, our educational journey. So what happened in my case, you know, first semester, I struggled real bad. You know, I was barely passing my classes. But for me, as a student, as a person who was from Afghanistan, I was highly depending on scholarships. The way it works in the United States is if you want scholarships, it's not like Afghanistan. Once you won the scholarship, that's it. You have to keep up your grades high up there in order to keep the benefits. Let's say if you have one semester that you got a bunch of C's, right? And then the next semester they're going to warn you and say, hey, you know, if you keep going like this, we're going to strip your scholarship. So you have to keep your grades high up there, pretty close to A, in order to keep the scholarships. So you see, that's why I'm focusing to basically help you guys out. Most of you guys probably haven't been through this situation, and I'm just helping out, you know, like, you know, any help is helpful. It doesn't have to be huge. I'm not the guy who's sharing the scholarships, you know, but I can better prepare you guys, you know, because I'm also an Afghan, a Hazara, and, you know, I studied English in Kabul, and, you know, that helped me over there 50%. Now I want to basically come back and tell you that, you know, if you do these things, this will boost your and better prepare you for the next journey. It's that. First problem was English, you know, reading, understanding, and, you know, the scientific language. The next problem in my personal life that I come across was picking up my major. Yeah, picking up my major. Do you guys understand what it means?
Yeah.
Picking up a major? انتخاب رشته. Okay. So, because, you know, we all, except for very few of you guys are very young. And when it comes to picking a major, you know, you just go with, I don't know, when you were a kid, you wanted to be a doctor, or probably there was a broken door, you wanted to be an engineer, and things like those, you know. We have those type of mentalities. But what's going on in the real world? Does anyone know? So during the collapse of the Afghan regime, a bunch of folks went from Afghanistan to the United States. And do you know who they were? Most of them were engineers. And the question was, why are you an engineer? It's like, I don't know. I don't know. So now, okay, well, if you don't know, no one's going to give you a job because you didn't know you became an engineer, right? By a coincidence. So it's extremely important to find your major, to like your major. Because here's what happens. If you don't know what's going on and you just study something for whatever your mom told you, your parents told you, or anything, that's not going to lead you to prosperity. Because I know a lot of engineers, they're like, I hate math. It's like, holy moly, you weren't supposed to do this. If you didn't like math, you're not supposed to be in an engineering job. Because they're playing with math the entire time, right? Yes, so you're in the wrong major. It's, you know, so I always think about this example. Who likes running?
Running?
Yeah. Okay. Who doesn't like running? All of us, right? So let's say what happens if someone tells us to run the entire time, all the way from here to Kodasangi. We don't like it, right? That's terrible. I don't like running. Picking up a wrong major is like someone pushing you to run. So how about those soccer players?
Yeah.
Does anyone pay them to run? No, they run for fun. How about what's the other one? The futsal players. They actually pay money off their pocket to go rent a place so they can run. Because they like running. And picking up a major is important. If you pick the wrong major, you're basically someone is actually pushing you to run. So let's talk about our poets. Hafiz Shirazi, Sadi. Who asked them to write all these poems? And who paid them for this? No one, because they liked it, right? They could stay awake all night, read books, write these. You know, I don't know who's a poet in here. No one? No poets? It's a hard task, you know. You have to balance every sentence and make it work so that people can like it, you know. So, do you see? Picking up the right major and the wrong major. And all of those engineers are jobless now. There's no opportunities for them. So what did they do? They wasted their precious life, their money, their energy, their potential. See? So, I'm probably a little bit older than most of you guys. And, you know, when you're in early 20s, 21, 22, 23, you have the patience to learn, to read. Once you grow a little bit older, you don't like learning, you don't like reading, because you don't have the potential. It's just how human beings are. So you're wasting all those precious times. You know, if you want to be an engineer in your late 50s or 60s, you can't do it because you don't have the brains or the brain cells. So it's extremely important to make good use of your time and potential and energy. So now we're talking about picking up a major. So do you guys agree that we're supposed to pick the right major in order to be prosperous? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If that's the case, then, you know, because it actually happened in my personal life. When I started the first time, I wanted to be a diplomat for no reason, like most people are. Because I like the suit. I like the diplomats are always on the TV. And, you know, they have all those shiny shoes, and they're called big folks. So I went there, and I started, and I went to an advisor, and I said, I want to be a diplomat. They told me, it's a master's degree. You're supposed to get your bachelor's first, and then become a diplomat. No, bachelor's first, go to your master's, and then you become a diplomat. And I said, okay, so it's a long way, right? I have to get my bachelor's first. And they said, what am I supposed to get my bachelor's in? Said, probably political science, something related to diplomacy. And that was my plan. And then, so I booked another appointment with an advisor, and I said, I want to be a diplomat. And then he asked me a few good questions. And he said, why do you want to be a diplomat? Well, I said, because I blah, 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 blah. You know, all the bad reasons that we never know why we said it, right? I said, okay, I like it because they're always on TV and things like those. And he said, do you understand that the diplomats are not home? Let's say, if you're an Afghan diplomat, right? They're going to send you to Iran. They're going to send you to Kuwait, to Dubai, to places like those. You're not going to be home. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And they said, okay, then you're picking the wrong major. So that was the first one. And I survived. And I was glad because I talked to the advisor. So think about this, right? Most of us probably disagree with this. We go study, spend money, spend time, and now you're not even with your family.
Yeah.
You see? That's the problem. You don't want to do the wrong thing. Like there are a lot of people who are pilots. They just wanted to be a pilot. And then they never thought about the whole thing. Okay, let's suppose I'm a pilot, and then I am a married man, and then I have kids and family, but I'm not home. What's the point of this study, right? And then also it's probably a hard task as well, and it's probably hectic and things like those, and dangerous as well. So it's extremely important to pick the right major. Now, for me, the next thing I did was I said, okay, that's that. So they made me take some computerized tests. So those computerized tests are to basically identify who you are. Are you an analytic person? When we say analytic person who's interested in math and things like those, are you a logical person? You're a poet like Hafiz Shirazi, you like talking, you like, things like those. Analytic is more like an engineered mind. You just think everything in a very logical way, and it has to be calculated in all those things. So you take that computerized test, and it tells you that who you are actually. Because most of us, we don't know who we are. Just like me liking certain things, I don't know, everyone probably likes money, right? We like those things. Those are just basic things. But sometimes we do not know actually who we are. Are we an analytical person? Are we a logical person? So now the reason why we want to figure those out, who we are, because certain majors require certain people with certain characteristics. Engineering jobs require analytical folks. Finance jobs require an analytical person, so that you can analyze a lot of things. Customer service, for example, doesn't require a lot of analytics. They just talk to people, okay, what's the problem? How can I solve it? And that's it. So next thing I did was to go change it from that. They told me I am more analytical person. And I said, okay, well, what's related to that? They said, probably you have to go take some of these classes and come back and tell me which one you like. So I like economics. And then I said, okay, I like economics. Changed my major from whatever I had to economics. Over time, I was like, okay, because now the next question is, how much does economics pay? Can I survive? Because do you guys properly understand that most of the teachers in Afghanistan, they cannot pay their bills? Do you guys agree?
Yes.
They're getting the minimum wage, even probably less than that. They can barely survive with that. Us human beings, teachers are great folks. They're awesome, and the reason why we can read, study, and write is because of them. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Okay. But they are not very blessed when it comes to funds, when it comes to money, when it comes to life. Do you guys agree? Yes, because very few teachers that I know that they're better off and they have a good life. Most of them are very poor. So my question was, as a student, and I would say it should be your question as well. Any major you're studying, don't study it because your mom told you or father told you or anything. You have to analyze it and tell yourself how much you're making over time. Can you survive with this or not? Right? Are these good points? Yes. Because, if you go to a wrong major, let's say in your late 30s, you notice that you're in a wrong major. You can't just go back and start it over. You're going to be 35 by the time you graduate. And there's very less time left for you to do anything great or huge. So that was my next question. And they said, well, if you study economics and get your master's in economics, you'll become a college professor and you'll get paid $70,000 a year. And that's a bare minimum in the United States. You can basically live like people in here, like teachers in Afghanistan. So I said, I don't want to be that person. I want a little bit higher because I studied, I worked hard, paid for all these classes, you know. Why am I supposed to be like that? And they said, well, and then I had to switch. Not switch, I double major. I have a bachelor's in economics and a bachelor in finance because they said in finance you can get paid $120,000 a year. And that's a little bit better. I can probably save $30,000 or $40,000 a year after paying all my bills. So that's better. And the reason why I'm explicitly telling you guys these examples, because those are my real life examples. And you guys will come across this. And this doesn't have to be just in the United States or in the case of a scholarship. This could be anywhere in Afghanistan. I come across a lot of people, they say, I go to school for engineering, and I would say, okay, then let's suppose you graduated today, what's the plan? And they say, inshallah, we will figure that out. I said, no, you figure that out now, because by then it will be late. So that's that. And then I majored in finance and economics. And then once I graduated from these, I got my master's in business, because I like business and I was good with economics and finance. And I got my master's, and I like those classes better than most of my undergrad classes. Does anyone understand undergrad? Undergrad is basically licence in Afghanistan. When you say grad school is master's, undergrad is licence. So for undergrad, those are just basic classes, but when you get your master's, you actually get exposed to the real knowledge. You learn a lot of things. And when you're doing your master's, it's not just basically remembering definitions. They want you to actually use your brain and say, hey, here's the problem, here's this, I don't know, Albert Einstein or Newton or anyone, here's what they say. You read all of these and give me your perspective, what you think. Because you have a master's, right? You're not an undergrad, you're a grown person, you know a lot of things. We want to hear your perspective. So yeah, and I enjoyed the master's better than my bachelor's. It was probably a little bit hard the first time. And once I graduated, I was given a few opportunities. One of them were to become a college professor, and I turned it down and I said, no, I don't want to be a college professor. And then I was given an opportunity at a very prestigious bank. It's called Goldman Sachs, and I turned that down too. And you know, I basically built an entrepreneurial mentality over time, and I became an entrepreneur, and I built my own company, and I have a small trucking company. And I hope all these were helpful. Appreciate y'all coming over. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak before y'all, and thank you again.